Rugby World Rankings, folks, for the 8th of August 2022. We are one round into the Rugby Championship 2022, so we have seen four teams exchange some points, and there is a little bit of a influence on the rankings. An all-time low for the All Blacks, but we'll get to them in a minute. A few people have been asking me recently, where do you get your rugby gear? I'll say it again, one of the main stores I have used personally is Lovell Rugby, down in the description. Huge selection, really fast shipping. They don't combine shipping, which kind of sucks, but yeah, if you're looking to get like kind of one item, I would certainly suggest checking out Lovell. I mean, if you want to pay for double shipping, you can. But yeah, they've just got way more than like my local rugby stores have in terms of the variety of teams, and a pretty decent sales section as well. So yeah, check out Lovell, folks. The world rankings, 1 and 2 is still Ireland and France. Those teams didn't play, so they haven't changed in terms of their points, and they haven't changed in terms of positions. But South Africa, who are still in third, have changed on points. They're still in third by 89.41, which is exactly the same as the French. And I don't know how they would differentiate it if it was like Rugby World Cup draw time, like for rankings. Like if the teams were on exactly the same amount, I don't know what they used to split them. I'm sure there is a mechanism to split them. But South Africa remains in third, and France still in second, despite being on exactly the same totals. South Africa took the maximum with their win over the All Blacks. Remember, 15 points is kind of the dividing line. You take more if you win by 16 or more. You take less if you win by 15 or less. So it was a 16-point win, so they took the maximum. So up onto the same total as the French. They will obviously pass the French if they beat the All Blacks by 15 or by 16 or by more or by less, whatever. If they win, they will pass the French and go back into second spot, will the Springboks. But they won't pass Ireland. They can't take enough points off the All Blacks to pass Ireland, even if it's a 16-point win. So if the Springboks are going to get back to number one, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. England are up into fourth. Obviously, England's total hasn't changed, but with the All Blacks dropping below them, the English get boosted up to fourth. So happy days for England. Not so happy days for New Zealand, because it was an all-time low to be at fourth. Now it's a new all-time low to be at fifth. All Blacks have never been as low as this. They can't drop to sixth. As kind of a small comfort, whether you take the world rankings into any account or not. But yeah, even if the All Blacks lose the game at the weekend and the Wallabies, who are just behind them, win, the All Blacks aren't going to drop into sixth, not yet anyway. But yeah, down from 86.93 to 86.13, fifth. Yeah, man. Fozzie's under all kind of pressure, and it may be if they lose this next game that he'll get the sack. There seems to be a bit of a debate going around. Is it like, has New Zealand rugby just kind of regressed that they are a fifth best in the world team now, or do they just have a good team but with a bad coach? I don't know, man. It's probably somewhere in the middle, right? Usually these things aren't that kind of black and white. Certainly, as Steve Hansen said, the New Zealand under-20s, which is usually a decent indicator of future performances, like under-20s hasn't been setting the world alight for recent years, so maybe that's kind of indicative of some of our struggles, but I reckon Fozzie could be getting more out of the current crop that he is, based on what we've seen in the last few performances. But anyway, All Blacks are in fifth. The Aussies are in sixth. They have gone up in their points total, up from 82.17 to 83.30. I don't think they can pass the All Blacks just yet. Like I said, even if they get a big win and the All Blacks get a big loss, because the gap is just too much. But they will certainly be able to get close. And they could potentially drop below Scotland if they got hammered by the Pumas in the next game. But the Wallabies put in a good shift in their comeback win over the Pumas in that last one. Scotland and Wales, obviously no changes. Argentina still there on 79.32, down from 80.45 with that home loss. And then everybody else is kind of the same. Samoa, remember they're above Fiji after that Pacific Nations Cup win about a month ago. Georgia, Italy, Spain, Tonga, and then the list goes on. There's some kind of aerial vehicle. Is it a vehicle if it's in the air? It's a helicopter flying over my house. But yeah, the main story is the Rugby Championship team, folks. All Blacks. All new low. We'll see if they're able to rectify things this weekend. It doesn't seem to be on the cards based on what we saw last week. I'm not sure if the All Blacks are going to have that moment where they're like so backed into a corner that they kind of have to react. But it didn't look like it in the last game. And the Springboks, since that loss to Wales where they shifted the team up so much, have just kind of seemingly been kind of ramping things up. And yeah, we can't forget about the Wallabies and the Pumas, because they both showed, I think, a bit of character in their games. Like the Pumas to really do quite well in that first half to get a big lead, but then they had a really shocking final 20. The Wallabies absolutely took it up another gear and took the game away from them with that maul as well. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts, folks. How do you reckon the world rankings are faring? There's been a few people asking, should Japan and Fiji be in the Rugby Championship with the other four? What do you guys reckon? Would it be nice to see the Rugby Championship have 2 extra teams, or do you think Argentina has never even won the title, so the last thing you need to do is add more teams, which probably wouldn't win? You guys let me know your thoughts, and don't be out to do it against it.